So the Yankees could always use starting pitching. And, this isn't to disparage or kind of dismiss the talent that they have in the system or seasons from guys like Nestor or Montgomery, but you can definitely say that if you add another starter to that rotation, they just become that much better and that much scarier. You can really never have too much starting pitching. You look at a team like the Dodgers who are loaded rotationally, and even then they still fall short in the playoffs, and you would point to injuries in the rotation and just weird stuff happening because you really can't predict injury, and you need to be ready to go out and either acquire pitchers or have the pitchers in your organization on your roster already there, so that if something does go wrong, you have a backup plan, you have a pivot, you still maintain a strong staff. And so one of the pieces they could go out and get this offseason is Sean Manaea, the left-handed pitcher on the Oakland Athletics. We know that Sean Manaea is going to be available because we saw that Bob Melvin, the manager of the A's, was basically let go, even though he was under contract, because the A's are probably going to tear it completely down. The rumors with Matt Olson, which is a completely different video for a completely separate day. But Sean Manaea is another piece on that team that, he's entering his final year of arbitration. He will hit free agency after the next season. He is a pitcher who has found success in the American League, who has pitched pretty well, and I definitely think could help the Yankees next year. And so with that being said, I'm Ryan Garcia from Fireside Yankees. If you guys like what I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter, and make sure to check out Empire Sports Media for more Yankees and NY sports content. Let's get into today's video.
Got him! The pitch to Stanton, swung on, and drilled deep to left field. There it goes! 21. That one is driven out to center field and deep. Going back, Springer on the track, looking up, see ya!
From 2019 to 2021, Sean Manaea has posted a 3.73 ERA, a 3.64 fielding independent pitching, which is just strikeouts, walks, and home runs, a 3.64 expected FIP, which is a similar thing to FIP, but it also factors your home run to fly ball rate, how many ground balls you get, how many fly balls you get, and Sierra, 3.78 Sierra. Sierra is kind of taking that xFIP, taking what xFIP does to a little more complex level, factoring, I believe, your line drive rate as well. Now, Sierra and xFIP are rather similar in correlation to future ERA, but these are not really, predictive stats. They're more estimators. They try to estimate what your ERA should have been that season based on your strikeout rate, your ground ball rate. And, it's hard to project pitchers because they can change very quickly. You think of velocity, you think of spin rates, you think of, spin efficiency, mechanical changes. Those are things that you really can't project for. You really can't take into, you can't really factor for. And, you can't really prove that a player is going to make a mechanical change because you're not working with them. And so that's why you have to kind of be careful with ERA estimators, because they're really very, very, very volatile and they really can't predict. So they just estimate, they don't predict. It's kind of different. With that being said, though, how does he stack up against other pitchers in the league? Because that's obviously very, very important here. Stacking up Sean Manaea against his competitors in the league, he is 42nd in ERA minus, 30th in FIP minus, 24th in xFIP minus, 19th in Sierra, 22nd in strikeout to walk percentage, and has the 41st highest ground ball rate amongst 92 pitchers who qualified with 250 or more innings since 2019. So he's one of the better starters in baseball. You can go as far as to say he's potentially a top 20 starter if he hits his full potential with his Sierra. I think the ERA minus is a little bit worse than what his true talent is. I think his true talent lies as like the 30th or 25th best starter in baseball, somewhere in that range. He provides a lot of, good things. He doesn't give up hard contact, doesn't necessarily get beat on giving up a lot of walks, or he doesn't strike out enough guys. He does those things well. So when you get a guy who can do all three things pretty well, you're having a pretty good pitcher right there. As for his pitch arsenal, it's a sinker changeup arsenal with a curveball. He uses his sinker 60% of the time, changeup a little over 20% of the time, and then his curveball a little over 15% of the time. So he's really just kind of a pretty standard, sinker, changeup, curveball kind of left-handed guy. And I think that could really play well with Matt Blake, who has traditionally done well with ground ball guys, as you've seen this year with Clay Holmes, Jonathan Loaizaga, Wandy Peralta, Joely Rodriguez. And while those guys threw harder than Manaea does, I do think that there's still room for improvement, and I think Manaea would certainly benefit from pitching with Matt Blake and the Yankee organization. As for the price tag for Manaea, though, that's when things get a little more interesting, because I don't think Manaea ultimately will cost an arm and a leg, but I also don't think he's going to come cheap. As for a package for Sean Manaea, I thought the Lance Lynn deal was a pretty comparable package. And so I headlined it with a right-handed pitching prospect, Yoendrys Gomez, and then put 2 pieces around him instead of, I think it was just 1 for Lynn. I put Ryder Green, and I put Oswaldo Cabrera, because Cabrera's close to the major league level. He probably needs another year down there. Yoendrys Gomez is still a couple of years away, which I think matches up with the A's timeline a little bit better than what the Rangers were looking for, which is kind of an immediate kind of answer to the rotation right then and there, because they don't think they're too far from competing. And so, the A's are just starting their rebuild, and so they're probably going to want a guy who's a couple years away. Cabrera isn't the best prospect in the world, but he does provide some infield value, in a year or two. And then as for Ryder Green, he has some pretty good power, and so that could help them down the road as well. And so I think overall the A's get what they're looking for, the Yankees get what they're looking for. Maybe the Yankees have to throw another piece, who knows? But I think this is a pretty decent package for Sean Manaea. So let me know what you guys think. I'm Ryan Garcia from Fireside Yankees. If you guys like what I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I appreciate all your support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ryan, out.